Hello YouTube, Vlogger Eric's Rants here, and this week is my reaction to some of the Simon & Schuster's rebuttal to Milo's lawsuit over Dangerous. The first part of this will be basically a little background, and the next part will be reacting to the comments. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. Why did Milo sue in the first place? Because apparently Simon & Schuster got cold feet after being attacked from the left for helping Milo spread hate speech. In reality, they got cold feet after his appearance of Joe... In reality, they got cold feet after his appearance on Joe Rogan and The Drunken Peasants appearing to condone pedophilia meant that people, mostly from the right, pressured the publisher to back down. Yeah, so with that out of the way, let's get on to the actual good stuff. So first off, Jason Pinter's post. Exhibit B. The next day, on January 14, 2017, Ivers sent plaintiff a follow-up email, January 14 email, summarising the conversation he had with plaintiff and his agent the day before, in which he outlined his editorial concerns with the manuscript, including 7 most critical overarching issues. He explained that, quote, "These are the 7 main issues that must be addressed in the revised manuscript, in addition to the edits and queries throughout," end quote. Ivers AFXC, in particular, Ivers noted that the, quote, "Why Establishment Gays Hate Me," end quote, chapter, quote, "needs a better central thesis than the notion that gay people should go back in the closet," end quote. Oh, wow. And the feminist chapter needed a, quote, "stronger argument against feminism than saying that they are ugly and sexless and have cats," end quote. ID. Ivers made it clear that plaintiff's first draft was not acceptable to the publisher. Quote, "It goes without saying that in addition to these 7 points, given the level of revision being requested, we reserve the rights of additional review and discussion of Ivers'. Ivers' comments on the draft manuscript were even more detailed in identifying the substantial concerns the publisher had with the manuscript and spelling out what, quote, revisions, changes or supplements, end quote, were required. Ivers AF Exhibit B. At the outset, he observed that there needs to be a preamble, quote, on freedom of speech and political correctness, end quote. There will be a, quote, short and serious statement here that sets out why you do what you do, without trolling, without bombast, without name-calling, and without ego, end quote. ID at 3. See also EG ID at 13. Quote, avoid gratuitous insults, end quote. Quote, unclear, unfunny, delete, end quote. Quote, this entire paragraph is just repeating fake news, end quote. Quote, major point, you will have to address the charge of racism clearly and with greater depth, end quote. Quote, when you discuss Leslie Jones in this book, and you must, end quote. Quote, this section feels phenomenally petty, end quote. Quote, this whole section has to go, too much ego, end quote. Quote, this entire argument is ridiculous, end quote. Quote, this entire section is the most poorly thought out section in the book, end quote. Quote, this doesn't make any sense or pass intellectual muster. It's just trolling on an issue that many readers might take seriously, end quote. As Ivers' January 14 email and manuscript comments demonstrate, Ivers considered plaintiff's first draft to be, at best, a superficial work full of incendiary jokes with no coherent or sophisticated analysis of political issues of free speech. Ivers AF 15-16. Plainly, it was not acceptable to Simon & Schuster for publication. This will indicate that it is going to be good. Now it is time to react to the comments made about his manuscript. This is from Sarah May's Twitter. Okay, Sarah May. I went to the New York County Clerk's website and found this filing. It includes the entire manuscript with all the editor's comments as Exhibit B. I didn't read the manuscript, just the comments. They're amazing, even better than the excerpts in the filing, and a pretty good summary of the book, I imagine. Citations needed. Delete irrelevant and superfluous ethnic joke. No, this does not show this at all. Gratuitous. I will not accept a manuscript that enables an entire class of people mentally ill. Not a sentence. Let's leave cock out of it. He used cock in his... Oh, God, he used cock in his book. Are you kidding me? This whole paragraph is off topic. Oh, I can't believe it, Milo used... what would you expect anything more than that from him? Sarah May. The editor is a conservative man who has published books for 45 and other folks with similar opinions. You can see that in the occasional good point comments, but mostly he was very politely having none of Milo's bullshit. Also, I now know I can write a book, because for fuck's sakes he wrote a whole chapter about how ugly people hate him. Literally anyone could do better than this. No basis to say this. All this pop psychology is hogwash. You can't say ugly people are drawn to the left. Have you ever seen the people at a Trump rally? Delete entire chapter. The book is better overall without hitting those ugly people notes in the other chapters, and better overall by deleting this one. This would never happen. This is not true. This is not true either. You can feel the faint air of, oh God, what have we gotten ourselves into, getting stronger. Let's leave fecal waste analogies out of this chapter. Stick with virgins. Perverts is unnecessary. Absurd name calling. The use of a phrase like two-faced backstabbing bitches diminishes your overall point. Then the frustration starts creeping in. No, it has not. No! Delete ugh! More from the category of things a professional editor never imagined they need to tell someone. These gratuitous epithets destroy the intelligence of this final paragraph. Delete. This entire paragraph is just repeating fake news. There was no blood, no semen, and there was no Satanism. Delete. Makes your points without comments like this. We'll immediately start using, if you want to make a case for fucking ridiculous think, you're going to have to employ a lot more intellectual rigor than you use here. This entire section is the most poorly thought out section in the book. If you want to make a case for gay men going back into the closet and marrying women just to have children, you're going to have to employ a lot more rigor than you use here. This just doesn't make any sense. That does not necessarily follow. Assertions that don't have the weight of fact. Yes, that's another good one. Takes notes. This whole section is filled with assertions that don't have the weight of fact. Understand the difference and back up every claim here, because this section will be hotly scrutinised. Mr. Ivers is getting pretty sick of your bullshit, young man. Don't use trannies here, if it just derails your argument. And no, that's not the point. Not here. And about that ego. Avoid parenthetical insults. They just diminish your authority. Throughout the book, your best points seem to be lost in a sea of self-aggrandizement and scattershot thinking. Add something like this, only less self-serving. This is definitely not the place for more of your narcissism. Immediately? This chapter needs a stronger finish. It was an astonishing success. Don't blow your own horn. And the humour gets in the way of the point you're making and is not even funny. This is not the time or place for another black dick joke. Dumb joke. Not worth the weak joke. And the wait, what? Beauty regime moved to box at end of chapter after Nietzsche section. Out of all the editor's comments, this one most tempted me to read the manuscript, but I stayed strong. These were literally just the highlights of the comments. There's so much more. Too important a point to end in a crude quip. Off the point. Unsupportable charge. The positive comments were instructive too. Interesting window into how they reframe things to make them sound reasonable. I can't seem to link directly to the PDF, but I think you can go here and search for Simon & Schuster as a defendant. It's one of the exhibits filed on December 21. Honestly, when I write a book, I hope my editor will be as straightforward with my work. But I also hope I own fewer I'm very disappointed in you notes and maybe a little less exasperated yelling. That was awesome. I love seeing Milo's book getting shredded. But it goes to show, that's all Milo is capable of. He's a provocateur and one of the most brilliant trolls ever. But that's all he is. He isn't a serious thinker. He's a troll and a provocateur. What the hell did you expect, Simon & Schuster? So, that is my video for this week. I hope you found it interesting and hilarious. Please rate, comment, share and subscribe, and have a great day, everyone.